What's going on, bodybuilding.com team? Master Coach Zach Long here today to talk about training when you're dealing with knee pain. If you want to continue to load your legs up, build strength and muscle mass, but your knees are bothering you, what are some different tools and tactics you can do to still get a good training effect in without further bothering your knees? So we're going to talk about a couple tactics as well as a couple different exercises. Let's start with the tactics. So we're going to first discuss our squat depth in terms of individuals dealing with knee pain. And if we go back to what's been traditionally thought of in strength and conditioning and the medical world, a lot of times people say to only squat to 90 degrees of knee bend and then come back up and to not go any deeper than that. But what's really interesting about the forces on the kneecap itself is that kneecap forces are actually highest at 90 degrees. So what we actually find in the research is that if we have individuals squat to a greater depth than 90 degrees, a lot of individuals dealing with kneecap specific pain will actually feel better in their squatting than individuals that stop at 90 degrees. So number one is to play with your squat depth. Number two, in terms of your squatting, is to adjust how far forward your knees go. So when we squat, we can allow the knees to travel forward, but if knees are really bothered by that position, a lot of times we can still build our squat strength by simply sitting back in our squat a little bit more, which puts a little bit less stress on the knees themselves. Now, an important note to that is I am not saying that you should never let your knees go over toes. That's an old school thinking process there. We don't think that knees over toes is dangerous long term. The research says that it's actually safe. It does put a little bit more stress on the knees, but it puts a lot less on the back. So a lot of times it's actually better to squat knees over toes. But in the instance of having a little bit of knee pain, that is a great tactic to temporarily change how you are training. Now let's jump into 3 different exercises that can be fantastic for you to continue to train your legs even when you're having knee pain. So the first one is called a Spanish squat. I've got a fairly thick resistance band tied around my rig here, and I'm gonna get one end of that resistance band behind each knee, and then I'm gonna actually lean back a little bit in my starting position, and I'm gonna do a squat where I really emphasize sitting back. You'll see my knees don't travel forward at all. And then as I stand up, I'm focused on driving my knees back into the band. And what you'll feel if you do this exercise is because the knees stay back so far, there's not a lot of load on the joint, but the band resists your knees extending the entire time. So basically your quads never get a moment of rest during the Spanish squat. It creates a huge burn in the quadriceps. That is a fantastic exercise. Even if you don't have knee pain and you're wanting to load the quads up a little bit, try Spanish squats out. Another cool exercise to do for bands or using bands is a slant board where that band is behind our knees and we're doing a limited range of motion squat, but that band resists our knee extending. And so if you're somebody that does have more knee pain, as you move into lower degrees of knee flexion, as you're lower into a squat, that slant board setup keeps you relatively high in your knee range of motion, but will absolutely smoke your quads. So great exercise to try there. And a third exercise using a resistance band is we're actually gonna put that band so that it is trying to pull my knee inward. And I'm gonna do either lunges or just straight split squats where I really emphasize pressing my knee out into that band as I do the movement. I can load this up with dumbbells, kettlebells, a barbell in the front or back rack position. But a lot of times that emphasis on driving the knee out and keeping the knee out of kind of the outer half of the foot will take just a little bit of pressure off the knees and let you keep training your legs even when you're dealing with a little bit of knee pain. Hope those tools and tactics help you out, help you continue training hard in the gym. As always, stay tuned for future episodes here at bodybuilding.com as we give you more tips to help build your body.